General of the Democratic Party, my friends, secretaries general from other political parties that have joined me, the national chairman of the Democratic Party, and all the leadership that are here, ladies and gentlemen. We come to join you in solidarity for the very painful loss that did not only affect you as a political party, but also affected all of us as a country. The late Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere, for many of you might be speaking about him more than what I can do, stood tall amidst all challenges that Uganda witnessed. I started reading about Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere in the late 70s. For many of you might not be knowing, in the 70s, Uganda underwent a lot of challenges. And when the Liberation Front came back to Uganda, there was Binaiza, there was Lule, and then there was the military commission that organized the 1980 election, and Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere became a candidate, a very vocal candidate, a very strong candidate against the Uganda People's Congress candidate. As a young person, I was already picking feelers of what Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere stood for. More so as a Catholic, because this I picked from the Catholic line. My father was a member of the Uganda People's Congress, and so we were tailored along UPC. But we were Catholics by religion. So when you go to the Catholic Church, they teach and talk about Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere. But when you come to the political front, they tell you about Apollo Milton Obote. So as a young man, my mind was very curious to understand what are these divisions among these powerful people. And so we tried to learn a little more. And then suffice it to say that we realized that Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere became the political Jesus of Uganda. He stood, he was sacrificed, he was insulted, he was abused, his victory was stolen, but for all this, he maintained calmness and peace and said, let it go. Let us have peace. For the sake of the country, let it go. And it is something that it's only somebody with a deep soul of humility that can undertake and understand these deep-rooted values. It is only later in life that many of us got to know that the heart of Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere was quite big for Uganda. That he wanted total peace for Uganda, regardless of political differences, regardless of the regimes that come to power. I'm yet to understand how he lived his life through Amin's regime. But for many of you who have read history, we realize that he served in many of the regimes. From Mokelo Tito's regime, in 1986 when NRM came, he was part of the broad-based government, and later on he contested against NRM and then stood as a presidential candidate and maintained civility, maintained calmness, and groomed so many young Democrats. It is something that brought us here as political parties, because DP represents a home of stability, a home of honor, and we respect you for that. We respect you for being committed to the values that you stand for, which is the truth and justice. We thank you for leading in terms of quality, in terms of spiritual life, in terms of holiness. We believe that Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere's words to you, members that follow this political party, are words that can make you become stronger in the future. In solidarity for the loss of a great man who mentored so many people, including those who have even now come to NRM. Politically, in the past, the world was divided into two ideological blocks: the capitalist and the Marxist, communist, and socialist. When these two conflicting ideologies clashed, until the late 80s that the Berlin Wall that separated the world of ideology fell. The world was divided into political thoughts and theories in terms of how do we harness factors of production to change and improve our lives, labor, land, capital, entrepreneurship, and others. But out of liberalism, we now see new phenomena coming in our politics. Phenomena of relationships, phenomena of rights, phenomena of freedom, phenomena of accountability, phenomena of fundamentalism. These are new terms and which should make we, the generation of leaders of politics of today, come together and join hands in solidarity. Why? Because the forces that affect human life are forces that detach human from things that should guide humans together. And therefore, in unity, we come together in solidarity to emulate the good examples that Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere stood for, that we should unite. As a country, we are busy dividing ourselves in terms of pettiness, but we are losing focus of the bigger picture of the global arena. The globe is moving very fast. Globalization will not wait for our division. Globalization will not mind whether you're DP, you're NRM, you're PPP, you're GEMA, you're UPC. It is about the product you offer the world. And when we look at that, we shall realize that we are each other's strength, not how different colors we represent. Uganda cannot be a country in isolation of the world. And that is why within NRM, we preach the 4 pillars of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Though you keep challenging us whether we are Democrats, but we believe in democracy. And so because of that, we believe that what we provide in leadership in terms of services should cut across all sectors of society, without segregation, without biasness, without selection, without generation challenges. And this has helped us to galvanize the unity that we look for, the spirit of togetherness, and the solidarity we want in the country. This morning, Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere, we look through his legacy, and then we reflect deep into our lives as young politicians, that at my time, can I stand firm when I am faced with the challenges that Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere faced in the past? Are you shaken in your faith? Are you shaken in your political party? Are you shaken in your belief? Because if he were, DP would not be DP. DP would have collapsed a long time ago. So the commitment we have individually in our political parties should not be commitments that should make us divide ourselves. Should be commitments that should make us even work together more. The strength of leadership lies in unity. Strength of leadership lies in coordination and networking. You can never be a good leader when you are isolated from others. You aspire to be a leader for all, including those who don't believe in you. You aspire to be a leader for those who might not necessarily wish you well. You even lead your enemies. That is the spirit of leadership. And we believe that Dr. Paul Kawanga Ssemogerere planted this seed in you, the Democrats. And we believe that we shall see you by the fruits that he planted in you, by the spirit he left you with, and how we coordinate and work together. When my brother, Chairman Norbert Mao, your chairman, signed a memorandum of cooperation with the National Resistance Movement, many people, especially within the Democratic Party, were attacking him. Little do they know that that is a strategy to work and gain strength with others. We as Ipod seated here, there are things that we speak together and it can be a stronger voice. But independently, individually, as political parties, we can be very weak. And therefore, when the Democratic Party is joining hands to work with the National Resistance Movement, it is not to say the Democratic Party has crossed to the National Resistance Movement. No. It is because you believe in the basics of which we should work together on, regardless of our differences. And so that is the spirit we would like us to emulate, and we keep preaching and we keep bringing our people together. That unity in diversity gives us strength as political parties. And we believe that these political parties that we represent should work and aspire to better the livelihood of the people we lead. So with these few remarks on behalf of my colleagues, we thank you so much for holding on. We thank you so much for seeing our father, our elder, and being there for him at a time when he was a bit weak and frail. We are with you, we stand with you, and we have come to join hands with you as we continue remembering his legacy. With these few remarks, Mr. Chairman, allow me thank you so much and send our regards to the President of the Democratic Party and all the members of the Democratic Party, that on behalf of the Ipod that the Secretary Generals are here for, we are wishing the Democratic Party all the best and strength during this time that you're mourning an icon. We know it is not an easy thing. Others would say because of age he could have died, because of age, and we are all going there. But we remember people because of what they have done in life. And that is why we feel the pain, not because of age, not because of anything. When you have a homestead and there is a big mango tree which provides shades to the grandchildren, and that mango tree is cut off, you feel the sun heat in that compound. And so we pray that you maintain unity, you maintain calmness, you maintain the party discipline that the forefathers of the Democratic Party taught you, so that together you can help other parties that are emerging to learn. We always learn a lot from the Democratic Party, for your information. Our national chairman, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, was at one time a member of the Democratic Party. And so that means he learned a lot. You helped groom him. So DP has been grooming quite a number of leaders. Maintain that, and not only groom, but also push them into leadership. We work very closely with your Secretary General, and together with NRM, because of the cooperation that we signed, now is a member of the East African Legislative Assembly. We are yet to see many of your leaders coming up, and we shall support, because now we are working together as a team, and this is the synergy that we want to build as political leaders. So with these few remarks, I thank you so much, and Mr. Chairman, we do appreciate the welcome.
Ensonga njikukwasizza ne Mr. Chairman.
Mwebale nnyo bannange.
Yatulaweko.